Four ordinary guys with extraordinary ideas for Disney parks. This is Main Street Musings, the experimental podcast of tomorrow.
Hello and welcome to Main Street Musings, the experimental podcast of tomorrow. I'm Tanner, and joining me today is He Loves Tony Baxter 3000, Jake.
Hey there, hi there, ho there.
He's listened to 14,605 versions of this episode and only won once, Eric.
What's up?
And he's collecting our ideas for his own, like, infinity stones, Brock.
Snap, snap, baby.
Nicely done, Tanner. You put in the work this time, man. Nice.
I think that's the first time any
great.
of us has put in the work.
I had the time today with school being done, so I figured why not.
Oh, yeah, you're on summer vacation now. Congrats
Yeah,
on
this is
that.
the closest thing I have to a job until I get some more interviews, so might as well put some effort into it. All right, so if you couldn't tell today, we will be pitching Marvel Cinematic Universe ideas for the theme parks, fitting with Avengers Campus recently opening.
Yes, yeah, it ties in pretty well. And hopefully we're going to make some pitches that are better than what I've been hearing about the new Spider-Man ride, because I have not been hearing good things about it.
Also, I really quickly want to interject. I'll make this brief, but fuck Disney for the pay-to-play thing that they're doing on that.
Yeah.
It is not okay. And I won't speak for the rest of this podcast, but I do not endorse it.
I think you speak for the rest of this podcast.
Yeah, I don't endorse it. I think it's
Yeah, I was
not a
for a
great
minute
idea.
when I read that today going to switch my pitch to being we team up with the Avengers to stop the evil Bob Chapek from bleeding Disney goers dry by charging extras for every little thing in Disney parks.
It's a shame Disney owns Marvel and not DC, because then we could make the Lex Luthor comparison with Bob Chapek. Evil,
Yeah.
bald. Yeah, but oh well. I'm going to make it
If
anyway.
you, for our listeners at home, if you are not aware of what's going on with the Spider-Man ride, we're not going to get into it here. Just go research it for yourself. It will take an entire episode
if you don't
to get
know,
into.
you were going to like provide helpful information.
Go spend
Nope.
$65 of your own money so that you can experience this episode better.
35, Eric. You know,
There's another-
a
it can
good,
go up to
reasonable price.
65.
Wait, it can?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was 3 different things. They all have different
Jesus.
price points.
Yeah. You can
Good
go up to
Lord.
$65.
Good Lord.
Buy a video game for that shit. Anyways, moving on. Marvel, it's gonna be fun. I've been looking forward to this one for a little while. So, it's also like still. I know it's been several years, but it's still sinking into me that Disney's reach is so vast, and that they got like in. All of these superheroes are technically their properties. I remember the fight for Spider-Man like 5 or 6 years ago, but it still feels like yesterday. And of course they won, obviously.
We all knew they would.
Yeah.
But of course.
Remember when Sony was like, we're not going to make Spider-Man 3 because blah, 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 blah. And then Disney was all like, well, you are going to do that.
Yeah.
On our terms.
Yeah. All right, so are we ready to pitch some stuff?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Tanner, because of that wonderful intro, you have earned the right to go first.
Oh, geez, thank you so much, Eric. I love the opportunity to talk more at the beginning of the episode. All right, so for my attraction, I know that there is supposed to be an e-ticket Quinjet ride coming to Avengers Campus, but I wanted something that I think it was going to be a little bit more involving practical effects. So I wanted to create something more in lines with like the Star Wars Rise of the Resistance ride. So here we go. As new recruits at Avengers campus, guests will be given a tour of the Avengers headquarters, examining the latest tech and everything involved in becoming a hero. Agents will be giving a tour through the line queue, and then trouble will begin during a pre-ride scene where Loki escapes a holding cell in the facility and plots to escape back to Asgard. Guests will board vehicles equipped with Stark tech to assist the Avengers in stopping Loki's escape. Now, I kind of left the main portions of what the ride will be blank for us to explore what kind of cool superhero scenes we could get to, but my general idea for the story is we see this pre-show scene where Loki escapes and gets his scepter. There's some chaos going around. Then Loki announces he's going to go home, and we are transported through one of Doctor Strange's portals to Asgard, where we have to eventually lead Loki back to the Bifrost Bridge, which will send him back to Earth, where we will end the ride, and the Avengers will be happy and proud that we helped them capture Loki.
All right.
The
Nice.
end.
Very cool. I like it. Today, yeah, I don't. For Marvel Day, I'm just not feeling the D4 guys. Anybody want to go second?
Yeah, any heroes want to rise to the occasion?
Yeah, I'm the hero. I'm rising to the occasion. That was all a setup so I could call myself a hero. F you guys.
Nice.
So my pitch today is going to be. I think of it more as like a mini land, not like a fully fleshed out like Fantasyland or Tomorrowland kind of thing, but 2 to 3 attractions / restaurant and probably like arcade maybe, or almost museum walkthrough type attraction version of Wakanda. So the main hook of this would be that it is hidden from sight from the rest of the park. And you would make your way in on kind of like a tram system that's sort of shaped like one of the jets, and it would sort of unfold around you. The blue sky version of that is it's underneath a dome that's like reflecting like mirrors and stuff to look like the outside.
Thank God planes can't fly over Disney World.
Yeah, we can talk about that. But it could also just be covered by really tall trees and other buildings. That's fine as long as it's not visible.
Right.
There are a couple ideas where it could go. It could be part of the Avengers campus. I know it's not in theme with Epcot, but man, would that be interesting. But for like a Florida thing. But I'm thinking more along the lines, probably attached to the Avengers campus, and then we figure out what to do in Florida later. There would be the sort of e-ticket ride, would be a dark ride / sort of 4D event as we go through the Battle of Wakanda where Thanos attacks. And we get ourselves in the middle of that action, and a lot of cool stuff as go through Doctor Strange portals. I think it would be cool to have, like, it's kind of funny because my story for that was going to be we go through Doctor Strange portals and we're the ones grabbing people out from different timelines to get them through to the Battle of Wakanda. I think that'd be kind of fun. Brock's like, no, I hate that.
No, I love it. It'll come up.
All right. And then the other attraction that the walkthrough style attraction that I had was a Hall of Inventions featuring Suri, who's kind of leading us through all of the cool Wakandan technology, badass bitch, just like leading the way. I don't want to get too far into it. We can talk about like a restaurant and other stuff. There would be a fair amount to flesh out. I'll leave it at that. So mini land, hidden Wakanda are kind of like the main sticking points of my idea.
Props to Eric for taking on an entire land.
Putting us all to shame.
Speaking of shame, Brock, you're next.
Thanks, man.
Good intro.
So my idea is going to take us all the way back to the 1940s. We are going to be in the audience at one of Captain America's USO Bond fundraising shows. So we're going to be sitting there. They're going to be singing the great song from the movie. I'm picturing all of the dancing girls and Captain America lifting up a motorcycle. So it's going to be like this fun sort of dance show. But midway through, Hydra shows up. They're trying to kidnap Captain America in order to extract the super soldier serum. So it suddenly turns into a stunt show, and what started on a regular theater proscenium type stage suddenly becomes all throughout the theater, behind us, in front of us, on our sides. There's going to be stunts occurring. I'm thinking perhaps we could introduce the Howling Commandos, other characters from that, but the real gist of it is Captain America is going to fight off the Hydra and the Red Skull and eventually save us, the audience, and save the show.
Nice.
Okay.
The show, more importantly than the audience.
Yeah.
Which must go on, obviously. All right. Nice. Next up, Jake Gabbard.
All right, I had to do a little bit of research for mine because I am not as not as well versed in the Marvel universe as you guys are. I mean, I've seen all the movies, but that's about as far as my knowledge goes. But so my idea is that our cue line is in the wonderful and amazing Sanctum Sanctorum from Doctor Strange, and we as guests have been invited to the Sanctum by Stark Industries, much to the protest of Doctor Strange, because Stark Industries has invented this new multi-dimensional traveling vehicle. But the way it has to work is it has to lock onto Doctor Strange's coordinates and follow. He has to guide it through. So we've been brought in to test this vehicle. So we board this vehicle, and Doctor Strange is kind of begrudgingly like, okay, yeah. And he goes to the left, and the vehicle turns left, and he's like, okay, yeah, we get it. And he wants us out of the Sanctum. But then Mordo infiltrates with the crowd that came in to test it, and he steals the Dragon Fang. And then he goes into the mirror dimension and takes off, and Doctor Strange is like, crap, and follows him, forgetting that we are, as writers, tied to Doctor Strange, and we get dragged into the mirror dimension as well, and chaos ensues. More on that later. That is my pitch.
Cool.
Cool.
I like how we had one Doctor Strange theme pitch, but 3 uses of Doctor Strange.
Yeah, you guys kept bringing up Doctor Strange, and I was like, what the fuck?
Well, he's cool.
Yeah, no,
I love Doctor Strange.
And I needed a way to get to Asgard for part of my ride because I thought that would be cool.
Gotcha.
And I was like, Doctor Strange should probably do it.
All right, Q&A.
So before we Q&A, can we just stop all... One of us needs to be shitty sometimes again. Can we go back to the time where 2 of us had terrible ideas?
Hey, I suggested a restaurant where we ate puppies.
I was planning on pitching a joke pitch today, and then an hour before we recorded, I had this idea, and I was like, oh, I'm going to try this.
Well, stop doing that, Jake.
I have a question for Brock Rudolph Gabbard.
Hey, I'm that.
So this is this all live actor show?
Absolutely. I think it's live theater. It's going to be a stunt show primarily, but a stunt show disguised as something else, disguised almost as one of the musical performances they have in the parks. I think if you want to get into the nitty-gritty, I think it'd be cool if we needed to time travel, we go through the portal from Endgame to get there. I think really the gist of this is going to be we are there to see Captain America in his heyday, in a great battle, but he doesn't know it's a battle yet.
Sure.
Cool.
Very cool.
I have a question for Jake.
Yeah.
Does Doctor Strange really say, oh, crap?
No, he says, fuck.
I like oh, crap more.
I have a follow-up question for Jake.
Yeah.
After Doctor Strange goes, fuck, are we looking at a roller coaster that's indoors, or are we looking at a dark ride? What's the pace? What's the kind of
I guess I
speed?
should have said it is a high-speed dark ride. Was my idea.
Okay. Cool.
And then I would want to make use of like giant kaleidoscopes that you can actually go through and stuff, and buildings moving in weird ways like we see in the movie, which I think could be achieved with actual animatronic sets and also projection mapping. That's always kind of a go-to. And to make it just look like there's the scene in the movie where you see them fight in the mirror dimension, and there's also the scene where she's like, "Open your eyes," and she pushes his forehead, and he goes through all that craziness. I want that kind of feel to the ride.
Craziness, yeah.
Cool.
Jake, I've got a question for you. What does the dragon?
Feeling
What
attacked.
what is the dragon fang?
Oh, so Dragon Fang is from the comics. I had to research this. Apparently, it's one of the artifacts that's in the Sanctum Sanctorum.
There are a lot of those.
It is a fang from a dragon, but it's massive and it's used as a sword. And apparently, it's like the most powerful sword in the world. Like it can break anything, including dimensional barriers. Ooh. So Mordo having that would be a very bad thing. So that's why Doctor Strange is trying to get it back from him.
Cool.
Yes.
I have a question for Eric. Your Wakanda ride sounds awesome. Are half the guests that get on it dusted? Or how does it end? Or just our favorite characters?
Well, I mean, this is after Tony's snap, right?
So that was the thing I was grimacing about earlier, is that is not in Wakanda. That battle. That is in the upstate New York Avengers headquarters.
Oh, okay, cool. Well,
but you can massage it. That's fine.
Right. That's fine.
Tanner says no.
No.
I apologize.
Well, I mean,
It has to be the one where we get dusted.
So, I mean, we could do like a 2-part ride, right? Where like we maybe are like, so it's half the bottle of Wakanda. We get dusted. The thing goes. No, hear me out.
And then it's 5 years later.
Yeah, and then like we kind of get like a little sparkly, and it's 5 years later, and we're being dragged out of like one of those time warps into the battle with Thanos. That'd be kind of cool.
I genuinely love that.
Yeah.
I don't think it would fly at Disney, but I love it.
I like it. I just feel like it might be confusing to the writers.
Yeah, especially if they haven't actually seen the movies and they're like, let's go on this fun ride.
I mean, we can skip the dusting too and just like be portaled out of the Wakanda part into the battle with Thanos too.
Well, it could also just be a random battle in Wakanda.
Yeah.
Or that. Or it could, yeah.
Because theme park continuity rarely matches with movie continuity.
I'm not super worried about it, but if we get there, we'll figure out how exactly that works. Yeah, and especially if it's like attached to Avengers Campus, maybe with that ending, it could exit out into the Avengers Campus. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
If it gets there.
So I have a question for Tanner. You said we see Loki get his scepter. Did I hear that correctly? Like we see him acquire it?
Yes.
Okay, so does this take place at a certain point then in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or?
Well, the thing with Avengers Campus is it kind of seems to be a flux of time periods already, which I was going to bring up for why Brock's would work fine there, because they have meet and greets with both the Sam Wilson Captain America and the Steve Rogers Captain America there. Okay. So they've kind of already said it's different than the Star Wars timeline. And I think you play into the whole, like, they're getting into this multiverse idea, so this is a Loki that has a scepter still and is also alive.
That's fine. I just was curious if that was factoring in any way.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, also, Jake, if you haven't read the comics, boy, we're getting into some wild territory soon.
Oh, I know. I know we are. Brock is trying to fill me in before.
Yeah, like one of my original pitches was going to be like, I don't know, there's like scrolls everywhere, like hidden in human masks and shit. And you can never tell the people next to you if they're human or scroll.
Disney finds a way to copy what your dad looks like and then replaces him with a cast member pretending to be your dad, who's actually dressed like a scroll underneath.
Amazing.
When you're
like, Dad, I haven't seen you in 15 years. I'm so glad you're
also,
here.
To to Tanner's point, I just wanted to say to Brock, when you were pitching, I had zero concerns about us time traveling. I think
I don't know why I even mentioned that. It was just an idea I had that was kind of fun.
I think it works perfect. I think it works great regardless.
Awesome.
So,
I have another question for Tanner because I can't remember if you specified or not. What was your ride type? Was it coaster? Or
it's
was
going to be a fast-moving dark ride. You're going to be on the ground.
Okay.
I'm picturing it kind of, though, working like Rise of the Resistance is with, like, there's multiple, like, cued show scenes and stuff, which is why we can see Loki getting his scepter and stuff before we actually board our vehicle
Gotcha.
to chase him. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, cool.
Sweet. Any other questions?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
I'll vote first today. I never vote first.
Yeah, we've noticed.
Coward.
I'll go ahead and do that today. Excellent pitches all around. I think all of them could fit in the ride in anywhere. I don't know. I like them all quite a bit. Today, I think I'm going to be going with Brock's Captain America pitch. I like the idea of a show. I want to talk about a show. I think it's a cool show and how that would work. And so that's where I'm at.
Nice.
So Brock, you're next.
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm going to return the favor. I think Wakanda sounds beautiful, and there's a lot of cool stuff you could do with that. It's been rumored in the past, but as far as I know, it's only rumors. So I think why don't the four of us get into the nitty-gritty of it?
Cool. Tanner.
I am going to go with Wakanda.
Cool. Jake.
I was going to vote for Tanner's ride.
Nice.
Thanks, Jake. You're my favorite member of the podcast. So we are, congratulations, Eric. We found the one,
The one in the 14
over
million.
14 million.
Feels good.
Crap.
Also, Jake, your ride idea is excellent.
Thanks.
And would love to talk about that again. All of them were really, really cool.
Yeah,
Glad I spent a while
whatever.
researching the fucking comics for this episode.
I, for one, knew exactly what you meant when you said the Dragon Fang, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Can't wait to not talk about it.
So I'm back to last place.
We love to see it.
All right, so what do we want to talk about first? I think we should hit on probably the entrance and how to get there, some about the e-ticket attraction, and some about the walkthrough. And then that's probably plenty of episodes worth of content.
And a restaurant.
And
We
a
promised
yeah.
a restaurant.
I want a restaurant. We can at least talk about what that would look like and like what kind of food they might sell. So where do you guys want to start?
Let's start with the entryway
Sure.
thing that's going on there, since that's kind of what guests will see first.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right.
Oh, I was just going to say, so I don't remember I don't know if anyone remembers this, but at the end of Civil War, in the post-credit scene, when Cap takes Bucky to the Wakandan facility, there's a beautiful shot that pans out the window, and there's this giant, like, ebony statue of a panther, and I think it would be great to have that kind of looming over the entrance.
Yeah, I think that would be very cool. Like sort of like dense trees with the flanking the panther. And I think you could probably have two ways to get in, either a walk-in or you can take the tram. Forcing people in through a tram is just going to cause a lot of foot traffic roadblocks. But you can, I think, if you wanted to take like a tram in and have like the forest opens up around you into this giant, city.
I kind of like it being near Avengers campus, but they're kind of being almost like a forest walk.
Yeah.
Like on one pathway as a way into it, where you're kind of discovering it, kind of like when you first go into the movie.
Yeah.
You're discovering it when the tech is revealed.
Yeah, and I think something for like that off of the path, maybe something more subtle than the giant panther. I think that can come later as we're getting closer. Maybe that's like the archway that you walk through into the actual land itself. Something a little more subtle to be like Wakanda over here, right?
Yeah.
Like a smaller panther statue or like a guard
That
from
waterfall
yeah.
Oh, that's
that
neat.
would be fucking sick.
would be beautiful. Like, Wakanda is just such a stunning location that I feel like incorporating all of those visual elements is a good idea.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Cool.
So we've got the entrance, but I've got a question about like what the majority of the land is going to be, because when we are in Wakanda in Black Panther, we see kind of two types of Wakanda. There is the Golden City, which is, a giant, beautiful city, and there's also sort of the outskirts of Wakanda, which is a lot more natural, a lot more nature. What vibe do you think we're going to have?
I think we probably enter. I want to capture both. I particularly want to capture the northern feel and like that tribe with the pelts and stuff. I think they need a presence for sure.
The gorilla tribe, do you mean?
Yeah. So I think we probably enter into like the Golden City and can have like paths that lead like. And then that is where our e-ticket attraction sits, is sort of like right there in the middle. And then off on like maybe two different pathways, we can go to different, one that's more of like the savanna sweeping nature feel, and one that's more of like the high plains sort of rocky thing that we get going on with that tribe.
If we're doing that,
That'd be kind of a cool place for a restaurant.
Yeah, I think so,
that would
too.
be a cool place. I was going to ask if that meant M'Baku was getting his own ride, which I would also be happy about.
That would be cool too.
Yeah. But no, a restaurant sounds
it
cool.
certainly crossed my mind.
Yeah.
But we could do both. I mean, it depends on how expansive of this land we want to be. I think that is a great place for a restaurant, though.
Yeah.
That way there's kind of like, I think, one thing kind of associated with each of those three areas. So
Yeah.
there's a little bit of something to explore in each, and that'd be fun.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe like the Golden City could be like the Surrey walkthrough technology thing, and then the plains could be more of where our Battle of Wakanda ride is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's where it happens, right? Like out on the plains by the city. And that could give, reason for people to leave like the main hub of the area. What are your thoughts, Jake?
Well, I'm just still like Googling the movie because I saw it once when it was in theaters, and I don't know half of what you guys have mentioned, so I'm trying to Google things. But wasn't there like a scene where Black Panther fought the evil Black Panther on like like an underground subway or something?
Yes.
Am I misremembering that? Could that be a ride?
Oh yeah, those
idea?
are the Wakanda transport. The super maglev fast trains.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a word for
thinking
them.
of like, what if that was just like a little like transport ride that went around the land or something? I don't know.
That would be
Trying
super
to
cool.
contribute.
Yeah, no, that's super cool.
I love that. That's in DCA, right? So they don't really have like the same kind of train system as the Magic Kingdom. Is it in DCA?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I know that's kind of not like on topic of what you guys are talking about, but I'm just grasping at straws here.
That is a really
No,
cool.
no, that's fine. Also, asking questions is a way to contrue, Jake. So please, if you need clarification on any of the names we're throwing around,
Sure.
feel free.
Who was the Baktu?
M'Baku?
Yeah, what was that name Brock said?
M'Baku is, I don't know if you remember this, but at the beginning of the movie, when he's being crowned the king, that big guy comes to challenge him. And then later in the movie, he saves his life. That's M'Baku.
Oh, and wasn't he like the head of like the gorilla dudes or something?
The gorilla
Okay,
tribe.
yeah, I remember him. Okay, yeah. Tanner
Yeah.
is holding up a picture for me to see. Yes, I do remember him. Thank you.
He's like my favorite character in that movie. He's so cool.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was cool. I remember him. Yeah. Yes, I did like him. All right, sorry. Carry on.
Oh, no, you're great. I do think incorporating the maglev train would be super sweet. And if we can find a way to do that, maybe in the ride, I think that would
Right.
be awesome.
Yeah.
I kind of view, and this is up for discussion for sure. I kind of view this as post T'Challa Wakanda.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. We haven't had Black Panther 2 yet to see who fills that shoe specifically. Like, it's probably whoever does. But I think maybe like a statue of him. And could be a cool way to honor Chadwick Boseman too.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing
I
about
was thinking
Wakanda.
even
As
for
a
the
concept
meta
is-
reason of honoring Chadwick Boseman would be cool.
Yeah.
But also within universe, they would honor T'Challa.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
So yeah, no, I think that's an amazing idea. I'm wondering about the mag train, since this seemingly its own like Fantasyland sized land within a different park. It seemingly doesn't seem like something that would need a transportation around, but could we possibly incorporate the mag train into part of the Shuri technology ride?
Yeah, I think that's a good place for it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yes. I'm saying
The
way
sister,
too many
right?
times.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's also great.
Yeah, I remember her. I just couldn't remember her
And
name.
the head of science. She's
Yeah.
incredible. So let's hammer down this ride real quick before we move on to the Shuri thing. I understand. So, Brock, you make an excellent point with my original idea of that ends in not Wakanda. So, what are some narrative fixes for that? Do you guys think?
It could take place, I guess, during Killmonger's kind of descent and overthrow of the government from the Black Panther film.
Or you could bring in just a new story of
Or a new threat,
Claw attacking or something like that.
I say news story.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
News story.
I like
news
that.
story.
I mean, you could
New
even
story.
introduce a new character from the comics. Like, he has plenty of villains. But I do love the idea of Claw
does.
because Andy Serkis as Claw in those movies is phenomenal. And I'm so sad his character died because he's just so fun to watch. So having him be the villain of the ride would, I think, be a lot of fun.
Brock has this weird infatuation with Andy Serkis's nipples. Like he just
Well, can you blame him?
This is something
Like,
Jake made up 7 years ago.
I didn't make it up.
Sure.
And
Jake
every now and
made it
then
up.
he'll just send me pictures of Andy Serkis's nipples, and I don't enjoy it. I'm gonna say that. I don't enjoy it.
So I was going to offer something to the discussion of our ride. But I was going to say maybe instead of seeing a bunch of other superheroes, because we are kind of in Wakanda, we see the Dora Milaje and
Hell yeah.
other people that are more tightly Wakanda related.
More of an insular Wakanda story.
Yeah, like M'Baku and stuff, instead of just all the other heroes. So that also kind of helps make it feel different from the rest of the Avengers campus area. It's its own story and land, and we're doing that with it still being hidden and stuff.
Yeah. It's a bummer that they took the White Wolf designation in the MCU and applied it firmly to a character that is now a hero, because to that end, the comic version of White Wolf would be a really cool aesthetic balance that you're talking about. I think Claw could be there for sure. But he also sort of represents that kind of Western, more aesthetic technology thing, versus the sort of tribalism of the Wakandan aesthetic. So that's just more of an aside, because I would have thought White Wolf would have been a really cool villain for this. But I think Claw's a good way to go. Who is he riled up? What's his business? Trying to get some
Vibranium
for sure.
Yeah.
I think that can be the major thrust of it. Claw is there to get Vibranium in order to...
And some of the cool weapons that Shuri's developed.
Yeah. Ooh,
And
nice.
stuff. So that way our whole land still feels connected together.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can even incorporate that into the Shuri thing, where this is a section that Claw like ripped apart and we're still trying to fix. Like, I love the interconnected feel of all that shit. That'd be sweet. And it like directionally leads you to going to this other ride, which I think would be cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, Brock, you were saying?
No, that's perfect. That's pretty much. That was a more eloquent way of stating the point I was hoping to say.
Cool.
I will say, so we've talked about the ride, but we haven't talked about what kind of ride it is. I have a suggestion, if that's okay.
Sure.
I normally am opposed to these, but does anyone remember from Black Panther those kind of dragonfly-shaped planes?
Yes.
Yes.
So I think that could be a really cool ride vehicle. It's okay, Jake. That could be a really cool ride vehicle, and I actually think it'd be kind of neat as a motion simulator kind of ride, you know. It doesn't have to be, but I think that's the only way to, you know, show the huge scope of a battle that's going on, you know.
Yes, I remember these things now. Thank you.
I am not at all opposed to that. That would mean shifting our e-ticket focus maybe to either the Shuri thing or an M'Baku ride, because I don't think a motion sense like a motion ride like that is really an e-ticket.
Well, I'm kind of picturing it like the Galaxy's Edge Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, which is a much
that makes more sense. When you said motion sensor, I was thinking Star Tours.
No, I see. No, I was.
Yeah.
You know.
So okay. I know we've already talked about this, but can somebody who's done the Millennium Falcon walk me through that so that we can maybe apply it here?
Tanner?
Basically, it's 6 people go into a pod control room and they are piloting and shooting the Millennium Falcon. You're in your own seats and you're steering it and you're guiding and you're shooting at different targets and flying around.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we could do that with like have 6 to 8 people go at a time, and then they're in their own little Firefly plane, and they have like maybe 306 or like at least like 180 degree rotation capabilities, and can to see like the sweeping nature of the battle scene, and we can use that to like focus in on Claw and stuff like that. I think it'd be cool if like we could then use that motif to have them be able to communicate with the other like flyers, right? That's why you go in together.
Yeah.
So like voice comms and stuff like that to make you feel like you are invested and you are part of like solving the problem and working together. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
And then that gives us a lot of leeway to fly to all the other fun parts of Wakanda that we can't jam into a land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I think the premise of the ride is Claw, having failed several other times, decides to come to Wakanda with essentially a small army and just, you know, try to get them with brute force. So that way maybe there's helicopters that are chasing us. We can kind of fly through mountains to avoid them. That way we're flying. We can see the battle below us, maybe interact with it in some way maybe. And there we go. I think that's a perfect way to do the ride.
Yeah, I think honestly it'd be super cool. Like now that I have a better idea of what you're talking about, I think that's a really cool attraction. You can even have like Claw flying his own stuff, and like you can feel him land on your plane as like he's punching it with his like claw. And like
Oh, that's cool with his sonic arm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I like it. Great ride. I'm into it. I don't think we have enough to talk about without going through the queue line and everything.
Yeah.
Gonna have to just brush over it.
Yeah.
There is a line. You stand in it. Fear
That
not.
is our e-ticket attraction that exists in sort of the sweeping plains area of the land. Moving from there to the Shuri walkthrough. I kind of see it either as like a moving conveyor belt kind of thing as she's leading with stops going through all the cool technologies, and it's very representational. It's what I need from you guys is how to make it feel not too talky, like what's going on. I really like the idea of incorporating Claw's attack into there, so we reach a place that he is. And she is just like discovering that he has stolen stuff, and That's kind of like the theme of the land itself. It becomes like starts to bleed out everywhere, and there's parts of that even when we get to M'Baku and stuff like that.
What if we used this idea of incorporating the train as instead of it being necessarily like a walkthrough, we kind of get our thrill from like takeoffs to different show scenes of displaying different, and then like it stops, but it's all connected. So each time it stops, everyone has kind of a visual of a area where we're displaying some sort of technology and something really cool can happen. And then there's one of them is the claw breakthrough, and we're like trying, and you see people trying to repair that in like security.
Is this a stop and go type dark ride, or was this a multi-launch coaster kind of like Hagrid?
I think we can do a dark ride that simulates the speed and the movement, because they can do that pretty easily.
That's fine. I was just curious because I couldn't remember where we landed with that.
Because I just don't know that we'd have enough space.
In my brain is an attraction I tried to revive, the rocket rods.
Honestly, that's kind of what I'm thinking is like the rocket rods, where like we're going to get bursts of energy. And
we'll just make sure that we build good supports.
Well, this will be built for rocket rods.
Right.
Can they literally
just be the rocket rod?
Another ride?
So here's my question. I'm thinking narratively, right? Is it too extra to really to really dive into this claw attack thing as like the full narrative for the land? Because I'm seeing we get to a certain point, we literally see one of Claw's lieutenants like break in and steal something, and that's sort of how we get out of the ride, is chasing him down. And then we see like the remnants of Claw's attacks and stolen things, and just have that be like a part of the attractions, or is that too much?
I think
should it be insular?
I think it's too much if you imply it's all happening at the same time and it's all the same attack. It could just be like, that pesky claw coming again. But I also think like if you go out into the land and there's like battle scars and sign that Claw has been here, it takes away from the majesty of Wakanda. If it's like, it's all kind of wrecked because that stupid Claw. I think just imply that he's always trying to get in there. He's always trying to find a new way to steal the vibranium.
Cool.
He's got like a Trojan horse outside the gate.
Also just because unless you're going to control the order in which everyone experiences the attractions, it won't necessarily play as well.
Yeah. Do we need a hook or anything for this Surrey ride? In terms of like, I know that like we're showing off technology and how badass everything is and stuff like that. Do we need any other kind of narrative hook to keep people like? Does something have to go wrong?
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, you mentioned the thing, maybe like Claw's guy tries to break in. I think that's fine because it's just like he's always trying. As long as it's not the same thing, but it should be like a minor little nuisance. I don't think it needs to be like it goes wrong. I think what the hook could be is funny things happen with the technology. I don't know if you ever watched like the Roger Moore era Bond films, but at the beginning of each one, Never Fail, there was a scene where he went down to Q's lab and Q was showing him all the gadgets, and in the background a ton of funny hijinks were going on with different gadgets that his assistants were testing.
Yeah, I love that.
And then Daniel Craig took over. No more Q.
Yeah.
Well, there was a couple in the middle there.
Some of these funny things to like increase the thrill level of like a launch here and there too. I think that's totally fine.
Yeah, I think because I'll be honest, I kind of like some of those low key rides that are just kind of like.
Me too.
You just go and you enjoy it, and it is actually for once what you were promised. Like the Navi River ride. Some people hate it. I'm like, no, that's what I was promised, and I want to just go and see the land and relax.
Honestly, the first thing I thought of was the Living with the Land boat ride in Epcot, where you go through the greenhouses and look at the vegetables. It's like that, but with technology. Like, you know, I think that's fine.
It's a little bit better than that.
I like that ride.
I like that ride.
Yeah, but you mashed it up with rocket rods.
Yeah.
And you get like something real fucking cool.
Yeah. There you
Well,
go.
I'm just saying it's not quite the same level of thrills. Like, I think if you're like, we're doing a launch and stuff, it's a little more thrilling than
And you also
with the land boats.
Mash it up with the end of Test Track, where whichever car company is sponsoring it just brags about their cars that they're never actually going to make.
So on this ride, no crap, Sherry.
Shuri.
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 You.
I knew Sherry wasn't right. What is it? Shuri?
Shuri. Shuri.
Pretty little Shuri with the fringe on top.
That's bad.
Sure.
That's a bad joke.
Ducks and geese and pigs. Anyway, so is she with us in animatronic form? Are we just hearing her voice? Is there a holographic version of her that we're seeing? How does that?
I think holograph is cool.
Hologram is the way to go for this for sure.
Okay.
And also, like, I think a lot of this is going to be screens, like of the hijinks of other people with like real props that we pass and we see.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a mix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely, but yeah, to deal with your question head on, this is definitely a hologram ride.
Okay.
To increase the sciencey cool factor of it.
That's
And
what
then I
thought.
think there's also going to be scenes like at the beginning of Rock and Roller Coaster where it's like you're looking through a window, but it's a screen. But
Gotcha.
better now because it's many years later.
Right.
Yeah. All right. I love this ride. I think it's super cool.
Yeah.
Let's get what else this land needs. We need at least the outline of an M'Baku attraction and a restaurant.
I think the M'Baku can be the restaurant if we want. You can serve some like cool Ethiopian, Nigerian cuisine.
Sure. Yeah, 'cause we'd have to get specific with which parts of Africa that we're going with. We can't just be like, it's African food.
That is kind of what they do in Wakanda, though, in the Marvel comics and movie. But I don't know if anyone remembers from the Black Panther movie, the entrance to M'Baku's like palace kind of area is that huge gorilla head with the mouth wide open that's carved into the mountain. And I think that would be awesome. You go in there. We can have some architecture reminiscent of his throne room, which has a bunch of parallel, interesting, like like logs that are pointed in an interesting way. So it's really striking visually. And I think we just have that sort of vibe, and it would be a really cool restaurant.
Yeah,
I think so. I think that's incredible. What I would love to do is attach like a mild log flume ride to it.
Okay.
So that you're like logging through the mountains and you get to go like down the waterfall into
I like
and
that.
that's how that would be themed. Like, yeah. And so they would be kind of a connected entrance sort of thing.
Could it be like themed as like it's some sort of rite of passage that his tribe does or something?
Yep. That would be the exact theme.
Okay. Sweet.
Yep. You have to like you have to go find the fire.
Can it be a log flume ride, but like a standing vehicle? So it's like you're balancing on the logs. You actually have to stand.
You are riding on the back of an actual silverback gorilla
The mighty silverback gorilla.
as it attempts to jump off of a waterfall. But yeah, I love that. I think that would be an incredible addition, both the restaurant and that log flume together to help connect that whole part of Wakanda to the rest of it.
Yeah.
Guys, I think this is like really cool. I think we did really well.
It's a hell of a lot better than that fucking Spider-Man ride.
Yeah, I think so. For like our main shops and stuff, obviously we probably put that in the Golden City.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know what else we need really.
I'm happy with it.
I mean, honestly,
it's
for considering that, you know, this is just like a one episode deal, I think that was pretty good coverage, you know, and I think it would be awesome to come back and explore this more in depth later.
Yeah, we were able to hit pretty much an A, C, and E level stuff.
Yeah.
Restaurants, shops, aesthetics. narrative. I think it's really cool, and it would be exciting, obviously, to have like that much representation for like the Black community to be attached to Disneyland. I think would be really well. It would be a long time coming.
Yeah,
and it would be very cool. So yeah, I'm happy with it. Thanks, guys. That was awesome.
I can't believe we did a whole land today, guys.
Yeah.
Yay.
This is what happens when you let my blue sky ideas win.
All right, so never letting Eric win again.
We gave him his chance.
Speaking of which, hope we're not too exhausted because, Jake, I think I hear some clouds rumbling outside my window.
I think
right now.
I do too. It's
the
almost like it's time
thunder
for
round.
the lightning round.
Oh, I was wrong. Sorry.
Fuck you, Brock.
Let's spin that wheel. Okay, today we are doing a restaurant. And we are theming that restaurant to a classic Disney
Baku.
Channel show,
Oh,
Kim
no.
Possible. Kim Possible
Okay.
Restaurant.
I haven't seen that show in
That's
so
right.
long.
Tanner's first.
All right, so for today's pitch, we're going to get really creative. We are going to be making a real-life Bueno Nacho,
Yep.
the
Knew that was
restaurant
coming.
from the TV show that Kim and Ron and all of their friends always eat at. We'll have some delicious food there, plenty of beautiful, tasty nacho cheese. It'll be perfect to add to, we'll say, one of Disney's California Adventure. Thanks. Bye.
See, I'm at a loss here. Everybody's like, that's so obvious. I haven't seen one episode of Kim Possible, so I don't.
No, it wasn't
And
obvious.
Tanner
That was the
wasted
only
it.
thing I could remember from the show.
He wasted it. He didn't talk about the Nachos. He didn't talk about the Lil Diablo toys.
Jake
Nope.
recently rewatched the show.
Anything from it in so long. I haven't
right,
watched
Brock.
it since I was like 10.
Did you say Brock?
I did say Brock, yes.
All right, we are headed to the Caribbean layer of Draken and Shigo. It as one of his really stupid plots, he has transformed it into a restaurant to try to lure Kim Possible in. So essentially, we are being served by people in those Nehru jackets that he wears and the weird colors of Shigo. And I think we can have some fun show moments with Kim showing up.
Okay, cool. You seem upset, Jake.
I was going to pitch Dr. Draken starts a hot dog stand called Mr. Hot Dog to lure in Ron.
You could have
Never
done
mind,
that.
forget it. It's basically Brock's idea. No, I have another one.
Okay, well, Eric's up.
No, it's Jake, actually.
All right, so this restaurant is going to be at the awesome island of Senor, Senior, and Junior, where they live, and they have turned their billionaire mansion into a restaurant, but Junior also is trying to run a club in the restaurant. So you have a club and a restaurant going on, so there's dancing, and Junior's all about, the fancy, extravagant styles and fashions and food, but Senor, Senior is still trying to be evil in the background, so Kim breaks in and has to stop him while you're eating. There.
Okay.
All right.
So I was just looking it up. I guess she's not like a spy, which is what I thought
Kim
she
Possible?
was. Yeah. Anyways.
She's like a freelance
She's
James Bond.
Yeah, she's a
spy adjacent. So, me knowing nothing about Kim Possible, I thought she was a spy. Hey, she's at least James Bond adjacent. So, our restaurant, we're going to do mystery spy meals. You have to, decode, certain, letters of writ and figure out what's in these, what's in the dishes, or you can just order them blind because they're mystery dishes and you're not a very good spy.
But I'm allergic to
That
coconut.
is my restaurant.
Well, can't wait till the guy allergic to shellfish dies because he miscoded something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it'll have a sign on saying bad for people with any food allergy.
Do not come in if you have any problems with food.
serious, like, true story, though, when I worked at Logan's, which gives away free peanuts and has them all over the floors and attaches them to every table or whatever. We have a giant fucking sign, like, on the front door that says, if you are allergic to peanuts, do not come into this restaurant.
Yeah, really. Don't even enter the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't even move to a town with one.
You should probably take your EpiPen right now and go.
All right, well, that was another successful lightning round. Brock, why don't you take us out of here?
Alrighty. Okay. Jake, have you heard about Tony Stark's latest invention? It's our Facebook.
You better be careful. Mark Zuckerberg will sue your ass. Facebook.com/Main Street Musings.
And Tanner, call Heimdall and summon the Bifrost. We're heading to our Instagram.
Main_street_musings.
And Eric Hand, you better take your super soldier serum because you're about to battle our Twitter.
At MSM_podcast.
Wait, is our Twitter evil?
I don't know.
Twitter.
And I'm Brock.
Speaking of Twitter, keep an eye out for lightning round polls that you would like to vote on for our next bracket. And as always, we are very upset this will not actually happen.
Everyone make sure to
We're
rate
always
us,
just
give us a
upset.
5-star review, tell your friends, and love us forever.
Yay!
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.